when we use words like original, we use words like ancient. Those words, they have been sort of stripped of their meaning, of their impactful meaning. It's sort of stripped of the weight of those words. Original and ancient. Original and ancient. Because this European has, and I'm not mad again. Y'all don't be like, man, he don't like Europeans. Well, first of all, it's not true. Well, I'll tell you why in a moment that I can even talk like this. But the European knows how important origin is. Did you hear me? He knows that me and you don't know how important that is. But he does know how important origin is. And so therefore, everywhere that there is the opportunity to show origin, he inputs himself. I don't care where it is. Every opportunity that he sees to insert origin, he's going to put a European there. And that is not by accident. That is by design. That is a satanic design, but it's still by design. So let's go back to something like basic. And again, I'm talking to the remnant that's waking up. These lessons today are primarily for people coming to the knowledge of who they are. And even those of you who are European or maybe Hamitic or whatever, or Japhetic, you're just now waking up to the truth of who these people are. My people, right? You might want to listen to this too, because you're gonna agree that at least what I'm saying is true, whether you like it or not. So, I unapologetically and boldly believe the Bible. I believe after all these years of studying it, it is no doubt a supernatural book. Just like it says of itself that Yah's word is established in heaven. So I believe that the word of Yah is a gift from Yah to us, right? So that's my conviction. So when you have the Bible and you open it, and if you've got what they call the Old and New Testament, the very first thing that you see in the Bible, I'm talking about as people, the very first person you see is Adam. This is even before you see Chawah, you see Adam. And the European, the very first thing he does is turns Adam white. I'm going to say it again. The European, when he stole our book and he began to look at the writings of our ancestors, and he saw that there was a person named Adam, the very first man, then the very first thing that European did, he said, we got to make sure we paint this person right here has to be white. And so right now, most of you all have the ability to do a word search. To do a Google search or to do an online search. And if you type in the word Adam, for the most part, and you type in, and you do a search engine, and you just click images, you're going to get a gang of European pictures. They're all going to look like they came out of Rome or France or Spain, Italy. And some of them are going to be not only white, but like super whiter than actual white people are. I mean, they're going to take that white to a level that you ain't never seen before. And the hair, they're going to make the hair blonde, more blonde than you've ever seen, or red. And then you wonder, like, why would they do that? It's because they understand the power of origin. And they know that if they can put in the mind of the people that the original man, Adam, was a white European, then the way the brain has been conditioned to think is that then white is the original and everything else follows, which means white must be the best. If that's the original, it must be the best. And everybody wants to be the best, or wants to be connected to that which is the greatest or the best, or that which is first, or that which is the original. So they show a white Adam, and then they also show a white Chawa. And again, she's going to be 100% European, and her skin is going to be whiter than the whitest of whites. And that is to show white supremacy. Well, more, man, you went deep on that, man. What does that matter? I'm gonna tell you why it matters. We'll get to it in a second, but I want to show you something. Because it started with that, and then you're gonna see a king get crowned. That's where I'm going with this. You're gonna see a person, Adam, who's white, and then throughout all of history, it's gonna end up with what just happened last week. Well, the world is gonna think that a European is the rightful owner to the throne of the world. But I digress. So they changed the name of Chawa to Eve because Eve is European. Chawa obviously is Hebrew. We know that. And Chawa, the mother of all living, and nobody is arguing on earth today. Not one person is arguing whether or not the Garden of Eden is in Africa. Nobody argues that anymore. That is not an argument that the original man came out of Africa, out of Ophir. That is not an argument. We know where the Nile River is. We know where the Euphrates River is. We know where the Tigris River is. We're not arguing that. That's not a point of argument anymore. But yet, propaganda will have you looking at a black continent and believing, and I use the word black because of you guys, looking at a black continent and believing that a white man was born there first. That's propaganda. So origin is important because he says, if that's the case, then we're going to be able to run a white line all the way from Adam, right? We're going to run that same white line through Abraham. So then when you look in the Bible, you're going to see white Noah. Wait a minute. First of all, you're going to see white Adam. Then they might mess around and make Cain black, but Abel white. Ooh, you Europeans going to hell for that. And then they're going to make Seth white, and they'll make all the rest of the people black, and then they'll make Enoch white, and then they'll make the people who didn't like Enoch black, and then they'll make Noah white. Now Noah may have been an albino, and then they will make Shem white, and that's Noah's son. They'll make Shem white, but then they will make Ham black, and then they will make Japheth Asian. They'll make, they'll make Shem white, and they'll make Ham, and then later on, what ended up happening was they realized something. They got to make Japheth white too. Now, I'm not going to deal with that whole picture, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And so you see these origins, so they can run a white line. And they're actually going to try to run that white line all the way to King Chucky. I know. Just do the research for yourself. So then what happens to us? The true bloodline descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. How did we get taken out of the picture? I'm talking about altogether. So much so that people don't even consider us when they talk about world history. They don't consider us when they talk about birthright. We are not considered when we talk about thrones and principalities. We're not considered when we talk about reparation and returning that which was taken back to none of that, because we were relegated to slaves. And fulfilling Deuteronomy 28, we became a destroyed nation, and people looked at us and looked down upon us, and basically was like, who is them? Who are those people, and what happened to them? What I'm telling you right now, the world knows this. The world powers know what I'm saying. This ain't no secret. I'm not coming out with no new information. It's just at this point, they know the rest of the world is so, they know that the average person is so nonchalant. The average person is so gullible. The average person is so ignorant that at this point they're like, you can put out all the truth you want. You still got people who ain't gonna bow down. I mean, you still got people who are gonna bow down to this king, and they're gonna worship this world system. So therefore, I make these videos because I'm trying to help you wake up to some truth. Why? Because it's about to flip over. See, there's a movement now in the world. There is a move in the world, and it's a very strong push, and it's Yah that's doing it. And this strong push is to, what would be the word? There's a strong push in this world from this new generation to just like, let's just get the truth out there. Elon is one of those guys who was like saying, what is this idea of just shutting down all the truth? Like, why would you do that? And therefore, he has like a 40-something billion investment. And I'm not pro or against him. That's not why I mentioned it. I'm just saying, in the world where they have capitalized on misinformation and disinformation, and a world that is capitalized and is ran primarily through white supremacy, why is it now that there is this kickback? And of course, you can only swing a pendulum so far before it starts to come back the other way. As it's coming back the other way, you can't stop it. And that, again, is the reason that this world system will not turn the world's wealth back into the hand of the Israelite. Because the truth is, as a nation of people, the Hebrew people, and as a nation, there was a promise given to our grandfather Abraham. He said, you outnumber everybody. There ain't gonna be no more people than you on this earth. You're gonna look up to heaven, and it'll be so many stars you can't count them. There's gonna be so many, like when you go to the beach and you look at the sand, You ain't gonna count all your descendants, man. There's going to be millions, billions of y'all. So therefore, it's very possible, and it is true, that the lands that have been conquered and the people that were conquered were primarily Shemitic, from the house of Israel, from the house of Abraham. But of course, in the last days, for sure, the house of Israel. And therefore, the wealth of the wicked came from us. The true original man, Adam, the very name Adam, means earth color. It's brown or red, but not the color of red like a crayon. The color of red that we would call brown, like the soil. We say that's red soil. Now that's very good soil. But when you see there's like animals, and we say that's a red heifer. There's not a red cow somewhere, like a red crayon color. It means brown. So Adam, the true Adam, obviously, he is golden brown, golden. And of course, Hamashiach is the same way. When he described, he's brass. It's color, right? Like burnt brass. And of course, then the Israelites are also all considered to be like burnt brass. Now, this is not a color issue. I just want you to see how all of your power and all of your wealth got usurped. And how there is a people that are living right now in full display, knowing that they are not the legitimate biblical descendants of that crown, nor are they the biblical heirs of that position on the planet. You are. We are. So the question is, how are we going to get it back? Or if we are ever going to get it back? I have an answer. I think I'll put that in the next video. One love, Zion. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Support the work. I heard a brother say this: if you can, send a donation to the station. We appreciate it. And we support you too. Stay strong.